Hello everyone and welcome to Overcast. This is the 45th episode of Overcast, your Overwatch podcast. So glad that you could be here. As you can see, this week I am running solo, so the solo button has been engaged on the soundboard. It is time for me to go through the week in Overwatch news and to bring it to you, bring it to your ears or bring it to your eyes if you're watching here on YouTube. So remember, you can connect with us as the show on Twitter. You can go to @OvercastShow. You can also go to theovercastshow.blogspot.com to find our show notes and our blog page and everything else about that. Head over to frozenfoxradio.com to learn about this and all the other shows on the Frozen Fox Radio Network. Go ahead and like us on Facebook. We have a Facebook page there. And also, thank you, and give a thumbs up and subscribe if you like us on YouTube, if you're watching the video version. If you're listening to the audio version of the podcast on iTunes, Stitcher, Podbean, Google Play Music, or anywhere else, please go ahead and give us a good review if you like the show. If you don't, let us know what you want us to do about the show. Doing our best. So if you like it, that's awesome. And a lot of you have been liking it apparently. So thank you very much for the reviews and for all the listens, because it has been fantastic to see everybody enjoying the show. That it's been kind of exploding. Probably because Overwatch itself is exploding. But hey, it's all exciting. I love being able to bring the Overwatch news to you every week. So what have I been up to this week? Myself. Because no one else is here. Everybody else is gone. I think Ova is gone for work right now, and Frostee left on vacation just today, so we did not get him in for the recording. So it's kind of sad, but things happen. It's summertime, and people go on trips in the summertime. It's all good. Apparently, I don't. I'm the boring one. I just sit here and talk about Overwatch. That's all I do. Okay. Well, I talk about other stuff, but whatever. Anyway. I've been having lots of fun, playing lots of really late game nights with friends, but it's been a blast. And I've been able to meet some more people. I've been able to also watch some streams with some people that I usually don't ever get to watch, because I've been doing some work for the Frozen Fox Network late at night, and been able to hang out while they're streaming and be able to watch some of them. So it's been kind of fun. Been able to play with some new people that I've been able to play with and reconnect with old friends. It's been kind of cool. And yeah, the other thing is I finally downloaded the PTR for Overwatch, and it was exciting. And I think that lends itself to lead right into the week's news, because the week's news was massive, to say the least. So we talked about it before. It's been talked about for a very long time, about a possible sniper hero, and I can't remember, I lost who it was in my mind, but forever ago, they had the speculation of a sniper healer, which, whether they knew something or not, I don't know, but I think they did, because we do have a sniper healer now. So the much-touted biotic rifle is a real thing, and it is in the hands of Anna Amari, yes, the mother of Pharah, and it's really cool. I mean, I think it's really neat. We have this very unique hero who, again, fits right into this great story that we're getting little tiny bits of all the story, and all the drama that kind of revolved around Overwatch when it was running. And I'm excited to get more, but we have Anna Amari, the 60-year-old Anna Amari. Grandma is here to take care of everyone. Yes. And it's exciting. It's really neat to see Blizzard come out with a hero that not only has I think a very unique mechanic of healing and a really cool kit of abilities, but it's just a cool character that fits into the story. And now I just want more. So there's a great kind of behind the scenes video, kind of give you a little bit of a look of who she was and her story and how she relates to Pharah, and kind of what happened to her. I don't want to spoil it all, but it'll be in the show notes. You can go to the blog page and check out the video, or you can just go watch it on the Overwatch YouTube channel. And it's really neat. Right now she's listed as a bounty hunter, formerly, of course, from Overwatch. I'll give that away, I guess. And that I've already gave away she's Pharah's mom, so. But she was one of the founding members of Overwatch, so to be able to see how she kind of fit in. Now, as for herself in the game, I did get a chance to get into the PTR and play her. It was an Anna Fest. It was Grandma Fest, Grandma Con in the PTR the other day. Every match that I got in, everybody wanted to play Anna, of course. So literally every match was like 5 Annas and a Diva, because Diva got some changes to her, or 5 Annas and a Zenyatta. It was pretty crazy. But everyone wanted to play Anna, so I did play some bot matches instead to kind of try to be able to actually experience her in a regular kind of match, and she's really fun. She's given a 3-star difficulty on the webpage. I don't think that she's necessarily that hard to play by any means. It's really like you shoot your friends to heal them, and you shoot your enemies to hurt them. And the sniper scope, when you look down the scope, it's very forgiving. So instead of having like your tiny little crosshairs, there's a little triangle that you look through, like that's kind of in the scope itself. As long as you shoot and the person is anywhere in that area, it'll count as a hit. So you don't have to be like extremely precise. I think that she's a very forgiving sniper when it comes to any kind of FPS, which I think is good, because I think it'll lend people to kind of help fill that support role that normally wouldn't, and you get kind of this added challenge of being able to snipe, and you still kind of feel cool because you get to snipe. She doesn't have any mobility, which is one sad thing. The trailer has her like up on the bridge, at the Temple of Anubis, or not the bridge, but like the little, I don't know, the gateway, the top of it, where you see snipers usually hanging out. But she has no way to get up there, so I don't know. False advertising, Blizz. Come on. She can't. There might be some way you can get her up there, but I don't know how to do it myself. She doesn't have any wall climb or anything like that. I think that's the only thing that maybe she's lacking in, but I don't think that they're going to add anything like that to her either, probably. But maybe they will. Maybe they will. So I think you're just going to have to like get yourself in a good position to do this. It was just kind of unusual that a sniper wouldn't have a way to get up into like the sniper nest, and we'll just have to see if they kind of reverse course and change that overall later. Or, PTR feedback is important. So if you're in the PTR, make sure you get out there and let them know if you want more mobility. But she has the biotic rifle. One of her other abilities is the sleep dart. So if you see her, like she has like on her arm like this dart that's kind of hanging on there, and she'll fire that, and it puts the target to sleep. If they get damaged by anybody else, so if anybody like shoots them, it'll wake them back up. And there's also the biotic grenade, which the biotic grenade is my favorite thing, because I think especially if you're playing as Ana and you're like the shot caller of the team, or even if you have a coordinated team and you have a shot caller, this is your chance to like do a really cool thing. So you toss like a grenade in the area, and it's like an AoE. So if there's allies in the area, it'll heal them, and if there's enemies in the area, it will stop their healing, basically. Any enemies that are caught in the blast, they lose all their healing just for a few seconds. But a few seconds is a lot. So, I mean, even if there's a Mercy in there trying to pump out the healing, nothing. And I think if you use that really well as a shot caller, you could decimate any team. I think Anna's going to be a big pick, probably because of that alone. It's going to be pretty huge. She has also her big thing is the nano boost, and it's kind of like, Mercy can up damage for people, and this is her chance to give extra damage to one of her allies. So it's pretty cool. It's kind of like you shoot them with it, and then it kind of like, I don't know. It made me think of like berserking on Doom back in the old days. So just like go crazy. So there you go. That's her kit. The way that the rifle works is a little bit different than normal. You don't get like one big shot that like hits all at once. You get like it's like a tick. So when you shoot whether it's healing or damage, when you hit them, it's like tick, 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 tick. And so instead of being like a headshot and they're like dead instantly, it's like tick, 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 and takes just like a little chunk off each time, which I thought was interesting. I don't know if that's just a product of like the lore behind the weapon or what, but it's kind of cool. So there you go. That's Ana. I thought that she was a lot of fun to play, though. I think that she feels really good. I think she's very. If you're not really great at sniping, I think she's a good way to kind of get into it, or to at least be able to play a sniper role if you're not as comfortable with it, maybe. It doesn't demand the precision, for example, like that a Widowmaker demands. And I think it's really cool that you can do damage and healing without having to, like, you know, alt fire or something like that. You just shoot whoever and it does it automatically. It's great. So there you go. That's my PTR experience. And that's it makes her the 22nd hero in the game, I guess. So that's really, really cool to be able to have that. So there's that. The PTR also came with a huge list of patch notes, of course. So that's really cool. So let's go on with the patch notes for the week. The general updates, first of all, if a match goes into overtime for more than 20 seconds, the fuse will start to burn down quicker. So we had a match last night that was in overtime just for like forever. It was like forever in overtime. It was an exciting match, but it just like kept going, and we're like, oh my gosh, please, somebody just like get them off the point, and you'll be able to get the point down faster. Eventually, it'll go really fast. The interesting thing too is that I guess this is just kind of like to make it sure that, like, you know, you can't just kind of like keep overtime going, but overtime in overtime, player respawn is now increased. So the spawn timer is increased by 2 seconds. So you won't come back into battle as fast. You can't just like keep zerging the point to keep it contested. So that's kind of interesting that they see that little tweak they're gonna be doing. In line with some of the changes we heard announced for the upcoming tournament, one of the biggest tournaments, the biggest tournament, I guess you could say, for Overwatch so far, competitive play matches can now only have one of each hero per team. So no more hero stacking, no more 2 Tracer, 2 Winston, 2 Lucio combos, anything like that you've been seeing. The goggles and glasses combo, no more of that apparently. Let's see. Let's get to the hero balance updates instead. There's some other things, and just like these had to do with like AI players and stuff like that. But I want to get to that. Self-healing abilities now charge ultimate abilities. As a result, some heroes' ultimate costs were adjusted. You'll see that below, or as I go. I'm reading it as I go. You'll see. Bastion, first of all, configuration tank cost was increased by 10%. It seems like they must think that he was, you know, using tank form a little bit too much. So it's a little tiny nerf for him. I don't think it's a big deal. The long anticipated D.Va changes, though, have come down. And on the PTR, it seems like D.Va, you could say, is kind of OP. She's kind of like now like a hybrid, because she's kind of like a Reinhardt in a way that it works. So here's the rundown of all the changes for her. Defense Matrix. The cooldown was decreased from 10 seconds to 1 second, first of all. And now there's a resource meter. The meter will deplete when Defense Matrix is active and recharge when it's not in use. So basically, like, she has, when you put up her Defense Matrix, you could click it on and off, and there's only a 1 second cooldown in being able to do that. But then there's like a meter. So as you use whatever this resource is called, there's not, like, I'll just call it energy. I don't know, because I figure her mech runs on energy. Some kind of let's just call it Mountain Dew. Why not? Runs on Mountain Dew. No product placement here. But if she has her meter on, and she can keep up until she runs out of Mountain Dew, and it takes 10 seconds to fully recharge from empty. So it kind of like, it's kind of the same, but not a little bit different, because now you can use it a little bit, you can use it the whole time or whatever. But at full charge, Defense Matrix will last for a full 4 seconds, and then Defense Matrix will now remain active as long as the hotkey is held, which they've changed the hotkey. It's now bound to the right mouse button. So there you go. By default, you can also toggle it and things like that. And in addition to that, self-destruct was changed greatly. The cost was decreased by 15%. The delay was reduced from 4 to 3 seconds. And the explosion no longer damages D.Va. So you can use it more often. You have 1 less second to get to cover, and D.Va doesn't get killed. Which is, I think, is great, personally, because if you're D.Va, you run in there and it's like, you know, a lot of times you've seen people start to launch the mech while it's self-destructing, just so you can like surprise the other players. This is a full second where you have to get to cover faster now. You lose a whole second. That's a lot, really, when it comes to recognizing that self-destruct's happening, figuring out where it's coming from, and then having to get out of its line of sight. So you lost a whole second to do that. And then D.Va can sit in the middle of it after she launches the mech and just shoot you without having to like turn around and run, because she's not going to get blown up anymore. So the Overwatch WTF videos the other day had a video of a D.Va player getting blown up while Bastion ran away. That won't happen anymore. So the devs they had some notes for her. This is what they said. D.Va isn't being selected as often as other tanks. We feel a lot of that stems from the underperformance for absorption abilities, sorry. So we've reconfigured a defensive matrix, making it more flexible and giving players the ability to use it more often. We've also given self-destruct a little more oomph because it felt slightly underwhelming compared to other hero ultimates. I agreed. I think that the 4 seconds and the fact that you can only use it so often, the cost is a little bit higher. I think being able to use it more often is going to make her more of a threat, and I think you'll definitely see her get picked up, especially with the shield. The shield change is huge. How about Lucio? The sound barrier ultimate cost is increased by 10%. I think this is just falling in line with the earlier notes. McCree. Peacekeeper now maintains full damage at longer distances, but will do less damage at extreme ranges. So this is kind of get McCree back in there, because in competitive play he's been kind of shoved completely out now. When he wasn't the tank killer, it was like, oh, we don't want you anymore, get out of here. So they're trying to sweeten the water a little bit and bring it back. The devs said, while the game does feel better following the nerf to McCree's close range damage in a previous patch, it left him too weak. So we're increasing his effective distance, making his range similar to 76's. So this should hopefully give players another option for dealing with pesky long-range damage dealers like Pharah and Hanzo. So there you go. Now on to the changes that affect me the most, of course. That's Mercy, which she received some pretty significant changes. The staff damage boost has been increased from 30 to 50%, which is crazy. It will no longer stack with bonus damages provided by another Mercy, so only one damaging boosting Mercy. You can't have more than one anymore, so that's kind of sad. But 30 to 50% is pretty significant now. That's more of an incentive to use the damage beam, because most of the time you just sit there and heal because it didn't matter, or you just kill people yourself because your added damage did more dealing, had more to do with anything than any damage boosting that you would lose out on, hoping that the person you're damage boosting actually is hitting them correctly, hitting the enemy. Resurrect was changed. The ultimate charge was increased by 30%, which I think is fair. There's a lot of rezzing going on, and it feels like you can res like every 5 minutes. You could pretty much, depending on how you're playing, if you're a good Mercy player, you're charging your meter so fast that at the current rate, it was like you basically just could res on cooldown, because you knew that like 5 minutes later you could just res again and it wasn't going to matter. And so you just res anyway. I think you're going to have to be a little bit more selective about your resing now. And it's, of course, the other good thing is that if you're playing against somebody with Mercy, they're probably not going to be resing as much anymore. It just seemed like it was just constant resing in the game, especially when there's Mercy on both sides. And you're like, oh my gosh. And you'd have like Reaper, his voice would be in your ears, and he'd be like, when he says they have returned or whatever. The devs said Mercy's ultimate. Oh, I forgot to say the movement. There's no more movement penalty during activation, and a Guardian Angel automatically resets upon use. Got to finish that out. They said Mercy's ultimate is one of the most powerful abilities in the game. Players would often fly into the fray and die while using it. So with this update, Resurrect will no longer. It'll take a bit longer to charge, but Mercy will be a lot safer when activating the ability in the middle of combat. In addition, we always intended Mercy's damage boost beam to be her primary method for dealing damage, but it often felt so weak you were better off pulling out your blaster. So that's why they increased its potency. And I agree. I pulled out my blaster a whole lot because I'd be sitting there boosting somebody and I'm like, man, I feel like I'm not helping them at all. I might as well just go and shoot people myself. And that's what I would do. But we'll see if this makes a change. I haven't been able to play Mercy much in the PTR because the PTR gets pretty full most of the time. I just got in luckily early yesterday. And here's a couple other things. This one had to be increased a lot just because of the self-heal. Whole Hog's ultimate for Roadhog. Ultimate cost increased by 45%. Soldier 76, the pulse rifle spread recovery will begin after a short delay rather than instantly. This might be combating the macro, which I have not seen them address directly yet, as referring to last week's episode. So if you want to break down on that, you can head back to last week's episode and listen to that. Tactical Visor, Ultimate Cross increased by 10%. That is the deal with the self-healing, I'm assuming. And then Zenyatta changes. This is the other thing. People think this is going to bring Zenyatta back in a lot more. Base shields increased by 50. So now 50 health, 150 shield. The Orb of Discord and Orb of Harmony projectile speed has been increased from 30 to 120. Whatever that number is, miles per hour. It's pretty fast baseball coming at you. Transcendence movement speed is doubled upon activation, that's pretty good because you can really precisely keep yourself in the right place now. Nobody's going to be like outrunning you. And then the healing amount was increased from 200 to 300 health per second while you're in Transcendence. Zenyatta had the longest amount of developer notes. They said, I'll read most if not all of these just so you can kind of get the information. While Zenyatta has never had the healing abilities of Lucio or Mercy, he made up for it by dealing more damage. However, his lack of mobility and low health has meant that he struggled to find a place in many games. To increase his effectiveness, we've made several changes, the biggest of which is an increased shield pool. This will allow him to go head-to-head with more enemies. The Orb of Harmony and Discord changes are also a quality of life change, helping Zenyatta move his orbs around and apply their effects more quickly. And lastly, we've increased Transcendence's healing throughput. The ultimate was designed to be the most effective against sustained heavy damage fire and least effective against short, high damage bursts like Diva and Junkrat abilities. But due to the ability of healing it provided, there were times when it was possible for even sustained fire to overcome Transcendence's output. We've made the heal more powerful, also allowed Zenyatta to move around more quickly while it's active. So there you go. And then some other quality of life changes of the game. For example, you can enter a number instead of just for like the slider for volume and things like that. You can actually enter a numerical value. And you can also adjust the amount sensitivity out to 2 decimal points if you want. So if that's what you want. People that have a 21:9 aspect ratio monitor can now use that. Now has support for that. Which I was reading that changes it does like a force change to your field of view if you use that. That's to be confirmed, I guess. I was just reading that on Twitter. And then they fixed a bunch of bugs and things like that. So a lot of collision bugs, and the bug that I saw the other day on a video randomly where Roadhog can accidentally chain hook people that are standing behind him, which has to be annoying. So there you go. Oh, and there's the one it's like they keep having these musical bugs. So there was a bug that the payload is nearing its final destination music would continue to play even after the match was over. So there you go. That's the patch notes from the PTR for this week. Whole lot of changes. It's going to be interesting to see like how this changes the whole meta of the game now. I think there's going to be a little bit of shake-up. I don't know. Zenyatta, maybe. We'll see if it pulls him back in. I don't know if the water's sweet enough for McCree players yet. That sounds pretty cool, to be able to do like the long-distance damage again and to do it effectively, just maybe not extreme ranges. I really think the Diva is going to be the one that's going to benefit the most, and Mercy's going to be Mercy. I don't think that she's really going to fall much, but Ana's going to give her a run from her. The other supports a run for their money, but I think Mercy, even with the changes, it's going to be interesting. The boosted Bastion strategy, though, will probably get even worse because he'll be even stronger now. So there you go. There's the patch notes, and with all that said, let's talk about Comic-Con. Yes, Comic-Con. So we always heard about this Ana and Sombra, and we had all these pictures of characters and screenshots and videos and pictures of everything. And now we pretty much figured out that all these people are the same person. So who is Sombra? We don't know. We should find out on the 19th, I think, at Comic-Con. Or at least that's when I think it's when Comic-Con starts. But at Comic-Con, there will be an Overwatch panel where we will theoretically learn who Sombra is. And it's going to be exciting. We always thought maybe she was the different, than the robot hooded person with the thing, but that ended up being Ana as well. It's just one of her skins, the Shrike skin, which is going to be the one that I'm going to use for sure. That's my favorite one, I think. Maybe her top skin that's the like kind of her original look. It's pretty cool too. But yeah, that's what we're gonna see. But we're gonna at Comic-Con we're gonna see Sombra. Sombra would be, you know, it seems like she's gonna come out of left field. So the only thing we know is that we don't know anything really about Sombra. She just kind of like, the only thing we know from the screenshots is that there's like a cloak and that's it. And if that's even Sombra, maybe they're leading us astray. Who knows with that? So Sombra though. And we know that she has something to do with Dorado. And I was trying to figure out more about her to see, like, okay, what are we going to really learn about her? Or him. I'm assuming it's a girl, though, for some reason. But anyway, about Sombra, about this hero, I was trying to look around and try to figure out if anybody had anything about it. And, like, I went to the Gamepedia page for it, and I was reading things about it. I didn't know that Reaper had a line. I'd never heard it on Dorado, where he says, "Where's Sombra when you need her?" So that's one. And this is the most interesting thing that leads to be that she would be the next hero. And that is this. And this is interesting. Somebody had to do a lot of work to get this. In the origin story, this is quoting from the Gamepedia page for Overwatch. On these Sombra articles, you can go read it yourself if you know how to find that. Just overwatch.gamepedia.com/Sombra. This is what it says in one of the notes. In the origin story reveal trailer for Ana, 2 encoded messages briefly flash on the screen at 1 minute 16 and 2 minutes 11. When converted from hexadecimal and passed through a Zor cipher, using the constant key 23, the decrypted text reads, "Sombra, la que tiene la información." I'm not going to read all the Spanish part, but basically it means, "Sombra, she who has the information, has the power." This theoretically suggests that Sombra will be the 23rd playable character for Overwatch. So, who is Sombra? We don't know, but we'll find out at Comic-Con. So be on the lookout. We'll definitely report back on who Sombra is once we find out who Sombra is. It's very, very exciting times. And I think that's pretty much puts a wrap on the news for the week. I don't really have a lot of other things to talk about. So we'll get Softy back in here with his hero spotlight. I didn't see anything on the Ask Overcast line for this week. So if you do have any questions about Ana, about anything that changes for the game on the PTR, about anything Overwatch or the show, you can go ahead and use hashtag AskOvercast. You can also just tweet at the show at OvercastShow. Finally, some shout-outs. I do have one shout-out that I want to give, and that is to my friend that I have been watching a stream lately, and that is Trackpad Gamer. You want to go and find him on Twitter, you can do that. It's at Wolfwings. But you can also go to twitch.tv/TrackpadGamer and watch my friend play Overwatch using his trackpad. That's right, no mouse here, trackpad only. He's pretty good too, so go and check him out. And with that said, I think that brings the show to the end. That's the end of the show, yes. I will say it. I won't stumble over my words anymore. But thank you for being here for the 45th episode of Overcast, your Overwatch podcast. Remember, you can follow us on Twitter at Overcast Show. Go to theovercastshow.blogspot.com so we can read about the show notes. You can watch the links to the videos and everything else that we provide. Head over to FrozenFoxRadio.com where you can learn about this and all the other shows of the Frozen Fox Radio Network. That's going to be undergoing some big changes here pretty soon. More on that on a future episode. Head over to Facebook and find us on there and like us on there. And also, if you're watching the video version of this on YouTube, if you like it, go ahead and give a like, a thumbs up, and a subscribe. Let us know how you liked the episode, what you think about Ana. You can also do that on Twitter, of course. And also, thank you again if you're listening to the audio version of the show on iTunes, Podbean, Stitcher, Google Play Music, or anywhere else. If you like the show, give us a good review. It's so exciting to be able to see so many people so excited about Overwatch. It's just like the hype. We thought the hype train was big. It just continues to get bigger. This the Overwatch community online, the meme community, everything is just fantastic. So you guys keep it up. And again, thank you for being here. Thank you for supporting the show. And this, again, it was the 45th episode of Overcast. I'm Frosty. I hope that you are all doing outstanding. Hope you all have a great week in the game. And I'll see you back here, hopefully with my other two co-hosts next week. So have a fantastic week.